wave.
It comes up out here. Say that grass was the wave.
Yeah.
Oh, let's hope it's not that big.
Yeah, yeah.
So we started off chumming. It wasn't big sight fishing back then. There was probably a handful of tower boats in the whole Chesapeake Bay. Everybody predominantly chummed back then. And we chummed, I don't know how many thousands of dollars I've spent in eels and chum. I'd like to have a lot of it back. But we evolved, and once I got a job, made enough money to get a tower boat, I bought one, actually had the tower built how I wanted. Got into the sight fishing and realized it was a whole lot more productive than the chumming and a whole lot cooler than sitting and baking in the hot summer sun, just chumming all day. Just started sight fishing here, and I would say it was probably in the mid 2000s, early 2000s when it started. And it's grown. Obviously, you saw the boats out there today in the weekday, so you can imagine what a Saturday or Sunday looks like out there.
You got it? Yeah!
You got 'em.
Coming at me. There you go. Coming up front. You want to grab it?
Yep.
There we go. Come on. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Woo. Did you see that thrashing on the surface over there? Yeah. There we go. Here's right here. Oh, there's another one right behind it. Billy, look up. Going down, down, down. Fall on the other side of the road? Oh, yeah, no, it's a good fight. Oh, I saw the head shake there. Maybe the line from the other one. There you go. Woo! Cobia. There we go.
All right.
We got about just under 40. Rounds up to 40 inches. If you notice these spines right up top and that really flat head and their overall color pattern, they look really similar to a remora. That's because Cobia and remoras are sister families. They're the two most closely related groups to each other. Cobia is the only one in the family Rachycentridae, and the remoras are in another close related family, but they share a common ancestor. Cobia went one way, and both of these groups like to follow bigger animals around, like sea turtles and sharks and things like that. But remoras modified these spines up here where they widened out with that head that got even flatter, and those spines eventually widened to the sucker disc that gives them grip to hold on to sea turtles. But these cobias still retain that type of behavior. You also notice this kind of fork tail with a slightly upturned and larger upper lobe, and these large rigid pectoral fins. It kind of gives them a nice sleek shark-like profile, allowing them to swim just kind of like a Mako great white shark, swimming through the water, very similar style behavior. And also something you notice is this big, large, wide, flat mouth with these kind of a lot of small teeth along this big jaw that's great for crushing things like shellfish, where they really love crabs. Another name for them sometimes is crab eater, along with eating shrimps. And just like we saw in Cape Hatteras a couple weeks ago, we saw people are getting them even on sand fleas. So they love crustaceans, and to eat crustaceans, you got to have a nice solid mouth to crush things up with.
Yeah, I'd say when it's rougher, you see them, surfing down the waves. You can see them 300 yards out there, if it's rough enough and the conditions are right, sunny. Today it was, sunny most of the day, and we ran into more fish today. But I would say when it's rougher, you can see them farther. And honestly, I feel like bigger fish comes up when it's rougher. When it's sunny,
You see as far as your eye can see. Definitely gives you a big advantage when there's sun, and when there's not sun, it's really hard to see them.
And just by doing it and trial and error, I found when it's cloudy, it's possible, and we do it. You just have to take a step back and slow down. I mean, everything's at a slower pace. Boat is slower, but you got to be quicker on the rod because his gap, on a sunny day, you may have, like Bryce said, 100 to 200 yards where you see him and you have time to get your rod, and bait ready. But when it's cloudy, I mean, it could be 20 feet. I mean, it would be right on your bow. And when you see a handful of fish a day, that's all the shots you're given. You've got to make those count. And that's why, we're always attentive and paying attention and ready, to make that cast. You can't be lazy.
On a cloudy day, sitting on the seat and not having your hand close to the rod. Today like today, sunny, see him out there, you can relax a little bit. Not when it's cloudy.
That's a good fish.
Forward. Neutral.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful fish.
Hold the bottom of that net. Let it go when his head gets in it.
The bottom, okay.
Hold the bottom of that net. Grab the loop.
Hold the bag. Oh, I see.
You can't keep up with it now.
I see. So,
All right. All right, let it go. Perfect. Hold, take it straight up and down. There you go.
nice.
2.
Yeah.
42.
All right.
All right. Now I'm going to snap it.
Boat up, jig.
Actually, perfect.
Yeah, and I noticed kind of where we were fishing today is the fish just tend to swim a little faster. It's a little bit deeper water. Current moves a lot faster through there, and that helps the fish. You pick up speed. I've seen them over there swim, like I told you earlier, 10, 12 knots, no problem. And when he's going 10 and 12 knots one way and I'm going 4 or 5, 7 the other, you have some catching up to do or make a really quick, cast at him. And if you don't make the decision to turn around and chase him down and you're making the decision to make the cast, then it's got to be accurate because it's pretty much a one-shot thing.
Today we caught all our fish on bucktails, and I don't know if it's just a coincidence we did today, but keeper fish, nicer fish, we usually try live bait first. It seems to hook them a little bit better, gets it down in there, and especially if you want to keep them, you ain't got to worry about the bucktail pulling right in the corner of his mouth. It's just, I don't know, preference.
Yeah.
With the bucktails, the angler has to pay close attention and keep that line tight at all times. Not that you don't with a live bait, but I've seen times where you've got some slack in the line with a live bait, but that hook just, it's buried, and they stay on. Even when, a new angler, maybe the first time they've ever caught one or caught a fish in general, and it'll stay hooked. But the bucktail, usually one little error on the angler's end and slack, and the fish pops that bucktail.
Go. Oh yeah, that's bigger than that first one. Little think. Whew. Oh, some head shakes there. Oh yeah.
Gear to the right, Devin. All right, came out.
There we go. That's a fish.
All right, follow around. You're good, you're good, you're good. Stay right there. Down. Don't walk back.
Right.
All around.
Got a big croaker on the line. Oh, got out.
Came out the net.
Still on.
I don't know.
Maybe just bounce out of it.
I'll put the thumb over the top. You know? I don't understand that. Had him in the net.
It's just thrashed out. Good thing I had that drag loose, so the bail open. Otherwise, snapped up. Yeah. He's just angry now. There we go. There we go. So something you can see on these pectoral fins, where my finger is, they're tilted up a little bit. And so that means that helps this fish stay near the surface, because all it needs to do is move its tail, and then just like the bill of a crankbait, this will kind of push it up without having to tilt upward the whole body, and that allows it to kind of cruise the surface looking for crabs and other fish using minimal energy. And it just goes to show that by looking at the shape of a fish, you can learn a lot and predict a lot about its lifestyle, about its ecology. Cobia can grow really fast. They can get to about 15-20 pounds in just a couple of years. And so they can grow really quickly. And now there's a growing trend around the world of farming cobia. They're great because they grow so quickly and they can feed on a wide diet range. They are great to farm, and basically you'll just get some pregnant cobia, squeeze out the eggs, get some squeeze out the sperm, put it together, raise these little baby cobia, and then you put them in these offshore tanks once they get big enough, these offshore cages that can be huge, and let them swim in there, growing, captured in the free ocean, and then you can harvest them at about 20 pounds or so in just a couple of years. And that is how most of the world is fed with cobia. And about 80% of all those cobia farms are out in Asia, and particularly in Taiwan and China. Then they send those little baby cobia elsewhere around the world in some farms like in Panama and the Caribbean, and even some off Florida. And that's how most of the cobia gets on the menu in the world.
I mean, it's a healthy fishery, and it has been for the last 20 years, and obviously more than that, but that's as long as I've been fishing for them, and it's been healthy. It's been great. This year's been great. Some days slower than average, but it's still a very healthy population of these fish. And we take a lot of trips, and they've reduced our limits over the years, and people have abided by it, and I think it's helped. Tighter restrictions with the larger minimum length on the fish. We're at 40 inches now overall length in Virginia, and we've seen a lot of big fish. But if I could urge anybody to do anything, the ones that everybody that fishes deserves the right to keep them, but just don't keep them just to keep them. You're eating them, and you have family that wants them, and they enjoy eating by all means, but not just to say I killed a fish, because all of us out here that have children want to see. I mean, my 2-year-old daughter, I have nothing more in the world than I want to see her when she's my age catching them. So if we could, help that population by only keeping what you need.